These are not your everyday candles. You can't find them, you can't buy them. It is something no one has ever done before. And on today's video, I'm using part science and part culinary magic, and the hopes is that this will now be a standard on every steakhouse in the United States, as this is one of the greatest discovery of life for our very first candle. This is the special ingredient bone marrow. If you've never had this, you don't know what you're missing. It is rich, creamy, buttery, silky, and it's a luxurious ingredient. It is prized by every true meat lover, as you can clearly see. Removing it from the bone, that's our very first step after throwing it in the pot. Then season it with a little bit of salt. And the key here is to render this thing nice and slow. We don't want to burn it. Yes, you can bring it to a simmer, as the smoking point of bone marrow is about 400 degrees Fahrenheit, as once everything is nicely rendered. You want to filter this really good. I highly recommend even using a cheesecloth for it, as we're going to leave all of the impurities behind and keep only the good stuff in the end. Check it out. You are left with rendered bone marrow, one of the greatest ingredient ever. Especially if you are a meat lover, to make the candle. It's pretty simple. You want to grab a heat-safe container. Now get yourself some of this. It is called wick. It's basically braided cotton, so first you add a little sticker to the bottom, then you place down the string, and above it you put this piece of wood. The only thing left to do is fill the whole thing up. And most importantly, cannot wait to see what this will taste like, because after cutting up the string, we now let the whole thing chill so that it can cool down, as our next candle ingredient will be phenomenal, because everything starts off with this special ingredient, Manteca criolla de porco, also known as pork lard. Now you want to go ahead and grab a generous amount. Let that thing render down, then combine it with chili oil. Mix that up real good. And our second flavorful candle is now ready. The process is exactly the same to make this happen, since you already know this one was a lot easier to make. But let's see how it's going to taste, as we are not done yet, because this might just be the favorite one. Obviously, it does not look that appetizing, since it is the trimmings of all of Japanese Wagyu. A5 steaks might be the most expensive ones. However, don't ever throw anything away. We can put all of this thing to good use. And let's show how first thing to do is to throw everything into the container. And there's one thing that I really enjoy, and that would be a smoke flavor. So instead of rendering this in the pan outside, smoke the whole thing at 250 degrees Fahrenheit, as once the time was up. Check it out. All there's left to do is to strain this really well. As in the end, left with this. This one deserves the title of liquid gold. Oh yes, I cannot wait to see what this one will taste like, because each one of them is making more excited than the other. If you work on a steakhouse, this is about to revolutionize every steakhouse out there, as after cooling them off. Check it out. Just wait until you see how I'll be using them. Because to use it, it's quite simple. You first want to lit up some charcoal now. To get extra smoky flavor, drop a little bit of the candle fat on the charcoal, then go ahead and trap the smoke. Now the key here is that the longer you leave here, the smokier your steak will be. And remember, it's not only smoke flavor. This thing is flavored with 3 different types of fat, hopefully making it the best steak ever. But we're not done yet, because there's another thing we can do also, and that is to grab the steak and dunk it in the candle, because it is 100% edible. It's one of those things that is just perfect for a steakhouse. Now let's talk about the steaks. These are choice grade. They are 1.5 inches thick and perfect for this experiment. I season them exactly how it should normally do, with a generous amount of salt, followed by freshly ground black pepper and garlic powder that said, don't want anything crazy with them, as today's video is all about those scandals. However, we're not going to be eating just steaks, as decided to go ahead and make an incredible side dish. This one is as good as it gets, as everything started with these pieces of meat. They are short ribs, they have great marbling on them, and it is just perfect. First thing to do is to slice them up just like this. That's because we want flavor to seep in, and for that we made a quick Korean-style marinade, and it is simple, easy, and delicious. Once that's done, you want to go ahead and throw it right on top of it and let the whole thing marinate for as long as you can usually leave it, for at least 30 minutes, as once it's ready outside, you want to go to cook it. It takes no time at all. We want to put a nice, beautiful char and grill this thing up and let the charcoal infuse flavor into it. This is about to be a very flavorful dish because check it out. We are not done with the meats yet. We got some boneless pork ribs, and we're going to go ahead and marinate it in the sauce again. You want to let it sit there for at least 30 minutes, better yet. Overnight, once the time is up, set it down on a cooling rack and into the oven it goes. Once it's fully cooked, you want to take it out. Set it down on a cutting board and chop the whole thing up in small pieces. Next, get yourself some bone marrow. Season it with salt and pepper and set it down on a cooling rack with a tray underneath it. Into the oven. It goes at 325 degrees Fahrenheit. Once the time is up, remove the bone marrow and strain it into a container, as we're going to be using this to make some fried rice. Talking about that outside, we go to do it now. Fried rice recipe is very similar. However, because we're using bone marrow, you already know that it's going to be a lot better. And of course, whenever you make fried rice, there's one thing you cannot forget, and that would be the wok and MSG. As once the fried rice is done, go ahead and start blading the whole thing. Make sure to add some green onions and don't forget the star of the show. That beautiful short rib, we made it previously for a tiny bit of crunch. Add some toasted sesame seeds, as this is today's side dish. And I can tell you one thing, it will be magical. But don't forget what today's experiment is all about, as I cannot wait for you to see what the candles will actually do to the steaks. Because now the only thing left to do is to cook them. So now it is enough talking, and it is time to grill, so let's do it. All right, everybody, we got a bone marrow candle over here and we got a chili oil candle over here, a chili oil candle, and over here we got smoked Wagyu. This is going to work extremely well because all of these steaks were smoked with a candle. You can also use the candles as a dipping sauce. It's 100% edible anyway. It good charcoal flavor. But the added bone marrow flavor is to die for on this steak. That is incredible. And what do you think? That is so rich in flavor that has to be the most flavorful rice I've ever tried. You get that flavor of the soy sauce and all those other Asian ingredients in there. Plus that bone marrow adds almost like a butteriness to the rice that it doesn't have. Plus you have that beautiful short rib on top too. That just is the cherry on top. That's awesome. This is phenomenal, guys. I'm telling you, you will not regret it, and most importantly, you're going to love this experiment too. But we got the last one. When can you dip a steak in a candle and eat it? Like, that's just cool. So this one is smoked Wagyu fat. This is an incredible experiment. It worked so well. The smoked Wagyu fat is incredible. It tastes so good. Highly recommend you giving it a try. Give this side dish a try. You will love it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. If you're not a subscriber, be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. That's so good. No, you should make more candles, more candles, more candles. Thanks for watching.